Welcome to the Poets Out Loud Mate Speakeasy Online, and look forward to hearing what everyone's got. Despite all the COVID stuff and lockdown, there's been another issue that's been going all around the world, and it's sort of Black Lives Matter, and it's about time, really. And I was sort of moved by that, and these words sort of popped into my head earlier on today. This is Black Lives Matter. Black lives matter. All lives matter. All things being equal, but they're not. It takes brutality to expose the rot in so-called civilized society. Don't seem like progress to me. Rich man's money always made on the back of the poor. How many held down to die on the floor? How many wars paid for in blood and toil? How many bodies lie beneath foreign soil? Or here, there, it makes no difference. They say attack is the best form of defense. I don't think destruction is clever, but protest might engage and pull my lever. Evening. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Muslim, Jew. Makes no difference to me, but why should it to you? The old human race is at times a disgrace. Buying power, building statues, can't stop this growing wave of news. It's time you changed your point of view. It's just a little overdue. You might find some unity in a multicultural community. All lives matter. Black lives matter. And that's that. Thank you very much. Right, who wants to go next? Susan, happy birthday. Do you want to read something?
Thank you. I'm still trying to find it, so somebody else can go next.
Okay.
Hello, Jackie.
Hey. Happy birthday to you, Susan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Susan.
I'm sorry I was late. I was having a birthday Prime Minister's question time watching Keir Starmer slapping Boris Johnson. What a treat.
I didn't know that was an option at Prime Minister's question time. Jean, have you got something for us?
Yes, from the sublime to the ridiculous. It's called 5 is okay. I can tie my shoes. I can write my name. Travel and adventure means a walk down the lane. A feast is an ice cream, 9pence and pink. A cruise is a bath with a doll in the sink. Mastery is balancing along the garden wall. Thrills and excitement chasing spiders in the hall. I don't need the I Ching to show me the way. I don't need possessions. I just want a penguin. I couldn't kind of get the rhyme right at the end there, but there we go. And when I was a kid, the height of luxury was a penguin biscuit. Thank you.
Fantastic.
I think that's great.
Jackie, have you got something for us?
I have got something, but it's not poetry. It's a journal I've been keeping. Does that count? Does that qualify?
Please do share with us.
Okay. So I've been sort of prompted to read a part of what I've been writing by the man who's just crept into the background. So, well, I guess you all know the background, and this is dated 8th of April 2020, and the subtitle is Identify the Bird's Song. As I walk my circuit around the block, there's a conspicuous number of men. His face is long as he fishes out a brand new tennis ball from the duck pond, with Dappy the cockapoo looking on in fascination. And him, His face is set in deep concentration as he reads every corner of the mirror, from the shady park bench with a half-eaten pack of Reese's peanut butter cups for company. And there's him, hoovering out the car boot, waiting for his next chore, and him, scraping every space between the paving stones on a drive built for 2 cars and a camper. It's a 2-day job, but it's totally worth it. And him, he who grinned through gritted teeth yesterday as we dodged past on the narrow pond edge path, me in the nettles, him in the reed bed. Today he didn't shave and looks hungover on a weekday. And him on the bike with somewhere to go and all day to get there. And him singly handling, carrying out the renovation and trying to get the scaffolding taken down before he runs out of money, but the contractors aren't answering the office phone. But the student mates who still live at home are playing kick the ball up in an open field just past the garden centre, disregarding social distance when Meathead misses a turn. They jump on the push bikes and cheer goodbyes until tomorrow. A nation of middle managers, and now their days are fallow. Soon a new generation will fill the employment gaps with their resilience to the virus and stories of how they lazily spent their lockdown days. And middle managers across the globe will stay at home with the minimum wage earners, furloughed millions without a role awaiting their skill. And when it's done and the lockdown is lifted, how many will need more than just a salary and a job, but a boost to their health, their mental health? The night they locked down the pubs, including our local, the Old Mitre, Mike and I were fleetingly there, lingering in the shadows. They called time at an unsociable 7:30 on a Friday night and sold drinks at half price. Regulars with glowing cheeks and crafted beer bellies sang, "We'll meet again," and couples laughed at the wartime sentiment. Yet here we are, tuning in to hear the Queen saying the same and asking for British resolve while coronaviral symptoms spread like wildfire, claiming more than 6,000 UK lives. The peak has yet to appear. Immunity is yet to bloom. The aftermath of this pandemic will not cease with a ravaged NHS, but a new social order, economic recession, untold health issues, and a lot of celebrating survival. Sorry, it's quite bleak.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. That was very powerful, actually. Yeah.
I think it's great to have these kind of diaries because it's a real snapshot, isn't it? And you'll look back on it in years to come, and it'll just be quite special. I think it's lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, already looking back on it a couple of months later, it has quite a different edge.
I was having this conversation the other day about there's been an uptake in letter writing, and those letters are going to be sort of historical documents, like letters from the trenches in the First World War or something like that. You know, it's time capsules of the events of the last 3 months. Right. Do you have something, Susan?
Yes, I do. I hope my microphone doesn't start playing up. I've tried to do something magical to it. This is something I've written for the blog for the Wildlife Trust for Gosling Psych. And I went for a walk there recently with a companion. And yeah, this is what came out of it. So, I am 2 meters from the only other person who is with me while I walk, which feels rebellious, or not quite that, but dangerous, as we are now unsure if what we do, a simple act of walking, is allowed. But while we agonised and stood apart and stayed alone and masked and watched the clear blue skies and heard the bird song, life went on. And greenery has claimed the barren earth, and flying insects flit among the dancing stems, and in the water, alien creatures metamorphose undisturbed by net or plastic tub. And everywhere is full of life and verdant in this lost words world which I have found once more. And me and my walking partner, 2 meters behind me, find that life is beautiful.
I really like the phrase lost words world.
Thank you.
In a world that you were lost for words in. Yeah. I think that's lovely.
Gosling Psych has got a little walk. It's for children really, and it uses the lost words, you know, the Robert Macfarlane book. It's got a few of those dotted around to kind of, you know, generate school children's appeal and links into the curriculum and things. So, but it is, you can get lost for words, but also it's full of nature. It's full of the words that Macfarlane uses that children are losing touch with, and try and get out into green spaces and reconnect with the things that really shouldn't be lost, like acorns and newts and things, you know. Why would you lose touch with that? But, you know, some kids are. So it's a lost words world, because they're trying to recreate areas that have that greenery and have that nature. But yeah, as you say, that's lovely that you said it's the world that leaves you lost for words. Thank you. That was great.
Very lovely. Thank you.
Richard, have you got something for us?
Yes, I have. Carrying on with your theme of Black Lives Matter, I found a poem called Celebrate Diversity. So here we go with that. Don't concentrate upon your difference. Look for what you have in common. The human condition, your reference, and treat all with due deference. Gaze beyond the outer covering skin. Peer inside for the deeper man. Be far more concerned for what lies within, for we are all your kith and kin. We all have eyes that see and brains that think, and we belong to the same clan. Our blood is red, and most of our organs pink. Our hearts have love, which is the common link. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, I wrote that in 2004 actually, but it seemed very appropriate with what's going on just at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly does. Good stuff.
Inclusivity never ages.
No.
Roz, have you got something for us?
Yep. Right. You can have this, which is not engaging with anything serious at all. It's just my week, really. I was trying not to moan too much, so I tried to be amusing, but actually it's just a bit of a gripe. Okay, I called it Poet Hoping to Zoom. This really is life lived in isolation. I feel cut off from civilization. It's not a matter of life and death, yet it's hard to function without the internet. And now my mobile phone can't get on. For some strange reason, my 4G is gone. It vanished the same day as my Wi-Fi. It's quite enough to make anyone cry. At least my mobile could still make a call, though I connect with nobody at all. Automated contact with my supplier, establish that there's a fault on the wire. Make another call, just use the keypad to make the appointment. It's too bad when I needed someone to help me out. The technology told me, without doubt, I must take a day I'd rather decline if it wasn't if I want the repair done to my line. So now I'm waiting for the engineer. Between 8 and 1 he's meant to be here. Just as the time has almost passed, he condescends to call me at last, spinning some yarn with his feeble excuse as he offers apologies profuse. Although I'm cross, there's naught I can say, except I just want it fixing today. At least he gets the home phone connected, but the bandwidth's slower than expected, and I still can't get on Google or Zoom. As exasperated, I start to fume at the technician who tweaks the router to increase my speed, although I doubt her chances of success, that it will mend before I have Poets Out Loud to attend. Well, you'll know if it worked if you hear this poem. Otherwise, I'm still stuck in the twilight zone. And that's
It worked.
thank goodness is all I can say.
Fantastic. That was lovely. Kelly, have you got something for us?
Yes, I can read a couple if you like. I thought I'd read one for, to tie in with Black Lives Matter, which I wrote, I think, the first time we did Black History Month at Tully House Museum, about one of the objects in their collection, which is a Georgian box, and the handle of the box on the lid is a Negro head that you lift off, and I found that a rather horrifying object, and I wrote a poem about it. Georgian box, Tully House Museum, Carlisle. The grey lead octagon has traces of red paint on its sides. What story could those stains tell? Were the box open now, would I smell 200-year-old tobacco? Every day, a hand reached out in a sunlit Georgian parlour, opened this box and plundered its twisted golden store to fill a long-stemmed pipe. The lid is topped with an African head. The face is tilted upwards, so a thumb can cover mouth and nose, gripping just under the chin, pulling up and up until the last breath goes. And that poem is in a book called Right to be Counted, which is an anthology of poems to uphold human rights. And can I read one more?
Oh, well, we were going to do a circuit, but
okay, right.
You want to save it for next time?
Yeah, I'll probably have to go at 8:30 or so, but that's, if we don't get to me again, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Is that your dinner time, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, so. Yes, okay.
That's amazing that was about not being able to breathe as well.
Yeah, the I can't breathe phrase is pretty powerful at the moment, isn't it? And looking at really painful parts of our history all over the country, really.
Yeah, very, very strong, very moving. Tony, have you got something for us?
Right, I have got a pandemic poem, and I've been spending a lot of time in gardening and stuff, and one day it took place, and I have called it Snail and Bee. Because it was that year, I had very food and home care stuff to and from the spraying table in my yard. That year, we sterilized bottles of bleach. On a trip, I trod on a garden snail, cornu aspersum, crossing paving slabs, slicked at last by a hesitant night rain after a long spring drought. Another arapace easily burst. One odyssey dashed among so many, and me taking my innards again, sweeping and inning shards and flesh, and thinking I'll be okay if I come back as a worm to be split by a future spade, when these slabs are just a stratum arid in the true apocalypse to come. Easy to think that way back then. Yet later, the slabs dried by the warm sun, there was a sort of litigation in the air. Before the lockdown, I had bought new plants which grew in new raised beds like Ilio. Some were Axifraga umbrosa, also known as London Pride, St. Patrick's Abbey, Imsey, and Look Up and Kiss Me. And despite the risk of stung lips, I'd have kissed the bee collecting nectar from the galaxy of star-shaped petals. The first ever bee in my sad backyard, and a better sort of burst from a plant which spread on the bomb sites after the Blitz. I thought about risk and luck and grace and how things stood with me on the karma front.
Fantastic.
That's karma as in K-A-R-M-A.
We're about to tune out, so if we all sign back in, and we'll pick this up again in a few seconds or so. But yeah, that was really good, and it's been good so far. So yeah, see you very shortly for more fun and games from Poets Out Loud and SpeakEasy. And then there was only 5. It's like Agatha Christie, and then there was 4. You should have the countdown clock. Da-da-da-da-da-da-do.
That little countdown was perfect, Philip.
I know.
Did you have a timer on the screen?
No, it disappears and you never know when it's going to do it. So.
Like it was meant to be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. See, I must be a professional timekeeper or something like that.
Yeah, obviously.
That's the only explanation.
I like your jungle background, Jeanette.
Oh, thank you. It hangs.
Looks very exotic.
She just reduced and I'm in the grass in the garden.
Ah, has Susan gone into space? No, I thought you had for a minute.
Yeah, it seems to put background. It seems to think that I'm the background, not the background, which is weird.
So how do you put a background on then? What do you do for
Go
that?
to your video area thing, and there's a little drop menu.
Yeah.
By stop video, there's a little menu, and it says choose virtual background.
Ooh.
Ooh. But I can't have one. It seems to think I'm a background.
Oh.
How can you do it? How's
I don't know.
Oh, I've gone all weird.
You were weird, Kelly.
I've gone even
Not
weirder than
you,
usual. I was. There we go.
There you go.
The editing's going to be really smooth with you all getting different backgrounds.
Oh, gee, that's amazing. Oh.
Good, isn't it? It's good. Means I don't have to tidy up.
I can't believe it. I can't do it. It won't do it for me.
If you get more light on you, then it'll be able to change the background, I think. So.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll have to pay the electricity bills and I can't do that.
Are those waves rolling in as well and the trees blowing?
Of course. Yeah, and of course I have a bikini on.
That's
What do you you look like a
without the wheelie bin.
You look like a borrower.
You mean there'll be a ladybird going past in a minute.
Yeah.
So Jackie, you're having a hard time, like lockdown in the Bahamas there, you know.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's too hot. Run out of sun cream. Can't get on the beach. Too many people here. No ice cream.
No hand gel, no sun cream. Oh, what's going on?
No toilet rolls. Lost my sunglasses. You think you got it hard in Cumbria, I tell you.
I know. Good stuff. Okay, shall we? We'll crack on. Where are we at? Jeanette, do you have something for us?
Yeah, I have. Can I have a very short poem followed by a little haiku? Is that all right?
Well, you asked very nicely, but yeah, okay.
I'll be quick. The first poem, it's just a kind of link. The first poem was written a couple of years ago, but it's called Colours. White, brown, black, yellow or red. Shades of skin merging, races widespread. A multicoloured harmony orchestrates an open mind, singing with each other, resounding for mankind. And that was a couple of years ago. But on Sunday, I'd playing about with my paints, and I just put like a little dab on of, I don't know if, oh, you can't see in the grass. Can you? Oh, there. And I just put like dots of each watercolour and I let them bleed into each other. I don't know, can you see that all right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's inspired a haiku, and it's a test of colours. They all bleed and can combine, beauty in ripples. And that's that. Thank you.
That was lovely. That was great. Cool. Val. You.
Hello.
Hello.
About a month ago, there was a thing on the Facebook page asking for poems about light. So I did two. And that was because I wasn't very happy with the first one. So this is the one I actually submitted. But I'm probably going to read the other one after anyway. So this is called New Light, and it's about bereavement. The light of my life has died. The world seems very dark outside. For hours and hours I've cried, and in painful shadows I hide. I'm falling down a black hole, the darkness penetrating my soul. Bereavement has taken its toll, and I don't seem to have any goal. Can I find one little spark to burn a small hole in this dark? I jump out of bed with the lark and make my way up to the park. The day dawns clear and bright. My heart fills with hope at the sight. New day, new life, a new light. Perhaps I will be all right.
Wonderful. That's really lovely. Okay. Craig, you got something?
Yes, I have. This is a George Floyd one as well. I wrote this, I think it was the first weekend where there was actually protests. It sounds a shade optimistic probably now, but anyway, it's what I felt at the time. At last a protest. A lone black American, death troubles many. Where 40,000 only kept us divided, one man's death unites a peaceful London. Shouts out loud from the rooftops, won't take any more. I should have said that's in haiku format, that one. That's it, thank you.
Excellent stuff. Okay, Hilary, have you got something for us? Oh, I think you're mute, Hilary.
Okay. It's another one about a walk very recently after the rules were relaxed a little bit. It's a bit longer than I usually do. But it's only you know, one A4, so but it's a bit longer than my usual ones. And there is a phrase, one sentence in Italian, which I thought might sound really pretentious, but it's just so beautiful. I've decided to keep it in. And it's guarda come il sole e come la luna. And it just means, look how the sun looks like the moon. So it's actually very simple. Okay, it's called shape-shifting. We've walked a mile, and now on scrubby land, at the wide riverside, I sink back, open my eyes to the sky and see the grasses that nod and bend above my face. Some have heads as hard and round as woven buttons. Some are feathery, curved against the blue. All is changeable. Nothing stays the same. The weather, we dressed for wind and rain, now gives soft breeze and high, swift, scudding drifts of cloud. Through their milky gauze, the sun becomes a veiled and perfect disk of bright silver. Guarda come il sole e come la luna. All hail the full and daytime moon in this, our shape-shifting world. At the margins of the river plain, teenagers gather, too many, their bikes on the ground, joshing, jostling, tentatively flirting. They think it's all over, you say. You speak about your father, his burial among marble monuments in the desert. No green and watered cemeteries there, where ghosts and weekend walkers may drink with their eyes and breathe anew. A harsh and unveiled sun makes for thirsty souls. You speak of home, the one that's far away. You've more than one. Back here on this day's placid river, 3 mallards glide in strictly distanced single file, enameled against the peaty brown. The mark of yesterday's fell tumbling rain rush darkens the banksides. At the precarious edge, pink lady smock stands tall amongst the plantain, the yarrow and the dock. A magpie, so starkly black, so starkly white, struts in the knapweed, lifts and flies across the water, murderously elegant on flamboyant wings. too entitled and proud for camouflage. One for sorrow, two for joy, I say. I tell you about the heron I once watched here, immobile, in single-pointed attention on pale shingle. That was then. I always came alone. But nothing now is still. Turning back, we walk in a violent and visionary clamour of breeze-ruffled clover, swift clouds, changing light, the skirl of the wind against our skin, the moving water, birdsong, our silent steps along the sandy paths. I watch the trees, each one rooted in the earth. They toss and tremble, each straining with its own and individual turbulence. You see another magpie, the same one? It's a different one, we say. That means two for joy. But really, we don't know. Flow gently, sweet, cold you, disturb not our dreaming. That's it.
Fantastic that was.
Right.
Yes, I'm often on that path, and in particular this year I have noticed all of the wild flowers there. Ladies' box, aren't they? Yeah, they're fantastic this year, aren't they? Yeah.
Hilary, how did you describe the magpies again? You said
Magpie?
yeah.
Murderously elegant.
Yeah, or was it assuming?
Well, magpies are real, they are murderous. They're real, they take other birds' eggs and they look so lovely, but they're really birds of prey, I think, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked how you wove them in.
For camouflage.
So arrogant.
Yeah, that was it.
So
Yeah.
arrogant.
Oh, too entitled and proud
That
for
was it, yeah.
camouflage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it fly across the river and it was so black and so white and so obvious. It was just like, yeah, flaunting itself. I think it's too wordy. I've got to try and cut it down a bit.
No, it was beautiful. Michael, has Amelia got anything to share with us?
She does. She doesn't have a face, but she has a poem. So she's just sitting next to me.
This is called Taking in the Sea. When you look at the coast, you see lines. The waves crawling upon the shore, the horizon stretching out the heavens, the city reaching out on either side to tickle the sea. At once, you see the boats zigzagging towards the sky, the swimmers in their choreographed positions, and the birds flying in formation. The clouds, too, wisp out geometric forms, and all these lines weave and cross in tidy harmony. But when I look towards the coast, I see every grain of sand, each infinitely different. Its color, its shape, its texture, each infinitely fascinating. I lay my hand in the sand, and each unfamiliar sensation occupies me fully. How can I look up and take in more? I can barely process one finger. To me, the world is not tidy, but overwhelming. And as I draw lines in the sand, I seek to draw boundaries between it and me. I can spend hours tracing neatly and never look up. Each line is imperfect, and I am determined to get it right this time. I strive for infinitesimal precision and never achieve it. My quest is fully engaging, and protects me from the unbearable infinities that extend around me. Give me time. Eventually, I will look up to consider each cloud, feeling around its contour, taking in the minute gradations of its colors, watching it transform across the sky. Tomorrow, I may be ready for the waves.
Fabulous. That was great. Thank you, Amelia. Okay. Juliet.
That's a story that someone told me the week before lockdown. I wrote it. It was just a little story, so I wrote it into a poem because it was the last story I got told by a stranger. Really, it crosses my mind a lot because it seems like a different world where you could just meet up with people and exchange stories. The language course. So I took it and sat on the wall and ate it. From the cracking of the chocolate to the soft scoop inside, it was intense. The shell gave way quickly under the vertical rays of a Lyonnais sky. Some call it vanilla, but I call it existential French summer, or young man on a wall with magnum white. Sure, it was a random gift, the woman of a certain age, the proffered bag, and outstretched ice cream. She didn't know me, or that I'm foreign, but our brief exchange, her offer, my refusal, then the cool wrapper, was my first taste of the language. Then off she went. I don't recall her face or voice. I usually avoid vanilla, but something I don't even like turned out good.
Fantastic. Okay. Fernando Smith.
Hello. Is my microphone on?
It is.
It's okay. Right. Is it my go?
It's your go. If you've got something for us, that would be wonderful.
Sorry, I've just arrived, so I must apologise to those people I didn't hear. I thought I'd lower the tone, and I'm going to give some audience participation.
Oh no!
Okay. How long have I got before? Because I went on too long last time and got cut off.
You're fine so far. If the timer comes on, I'll tell you.
Okay. So I'm going to offer the opportunity to go on holiday, and whoever shouts out first gets that poem. Yeah, and there's a choice of 4 here, and we'll get through as many as we can depending on which you choose, because some are longer than others.
Well,
okay, we've got Prague, we've got Catalonia, Rhyl, Mercia, and Sea Houses in Northumberland.
Rhyl.
Sea Houses in Northumberland.
Sea Houses.
Rhyl.
Oh, hey, oh, it's like Eurovision. Okay, well, while I'm finding, it was Sea Houses and Rhyl. We're going to have Sea Houses and Rhyl, but I'll take you to Prague first because that's 2 lines. Prague has a sound. Prague has a sound. A little silver transistor radio tinkling in the ear of a mad statue. That's it. Okay, we'll go to Rhyl. Well, actually, we're not going to Rhyl. We're going to Manchester, but it's got a Rhyl connection.
Well, I was going to say you can do one now, and then we'll do a circuit round, and you can get another go when we come back. So
we can go all over the world.
The postcards.
Fly with me. Okay, this is called Woman with No Toe. Jezebel, daughter of Harold, broke the heel of her shoe, snapped her ankle, tack, tack, like radio static, and remembered the foot curse bestowed on her bloodline. Back in Salford, a pronounced limp followed a particularly ruthless pedicure and initiated a funny walk that attracted the attention of the away fans and a sexual deviant up on a day trip from Rill. Following her behind a collapsing red brick bucket near the Lowry, he retched upon discovering her quite dead, the result of slipping on a discarded prawn booner and taking a toll one Saturday afternoon.
It's always nice to have a souvenir from holidays.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Fab. Are you okay to read another one next time when we go? We'll go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Cool. I forgot that you just joined, so you'd missed all the sort of housekeeping stuff. Yeah, good to see you, man. And I like the painting, by the way, the big painting behind you there.
Oh, that's 2 parts of a triptych called Edge of Empire. But that's another story.
Oh,
that's for
wow.
a different night.
All right, okay.
Tony Hart collection.
We'll do an art night sometime, yeah? Cool. Right. Have I missed anybody out, or have we've all had a go, I think. So back to me then. Right. This one's called Poems That Rhyme. And it's because it's somebody's birthday today. And last month, it was the day after my birthday, and somebody quickly wrote a limerick about my birthday. So I've come up with this for Susan. And it goes like this. Warm-hearted ice maiden dreams of open water to transport her away. Escape modern life, reconnect with the world for at least part of the day. She swims in ice-cold tarns and lakes with such ease, just like a selkie navigating treacherous high seas. Nature's very own writer-in-residence pens thoughtful odes with such resonance, puts together the jigsaw pieces of your mind, and you'll find the words and songs of the trees that reflect humankind. She waves the flags, raises 2 lads to be upstanding members of society, facing up to injustice, shining the light and fighting the fights, trying to change wrongs. A Carlyle writer who writes, a teller of tall tales with an offbeat, quirky, dark twist. Is there any opportunity or pun you can't resist? Number 1 clog dancer looks back to yesteryear. Concerned for the future, you worry because you care. Writing poetry with a purpose, using words for change. Champion the underdog, finding magic in the weird and the strange. A publishing wizard casts a literary spell, collecting, presenting everyone's SpeakEasy's words so very well. My storybook friend, to whom words are a gift. The uniquely unique Susan Cartwright-Smith. There you go. Happy birthday.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Susan.
Oh,
Really beautiful.
Happy birthday.
oh thank you.
Whoa,
That's a lovely present. Oh,
Happy birthday.
oh,
Birthday.
that's so sweet.
We'll all expect a poem for our birthdays now.
I know.
I know, you've raised the
I
bar
know.
now. But
I know.
my
Yeah.
birthday.
You've set a precedent there. That's really beautiful.
I'm almost speechless. Almost.
Yeah, but you're not. So, okie dokie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You have to send that to me so I can read it and go,
Oh, right.
"No."
Critique it and go, oh, this is wrong.
And go, yeah.
Jean, it's you. Watch out, Jean. There's a big drop of water behind you. I think it's going to... Oh, it's okay. We're okay.
Phew. Dodged a bullet there. This isn't a poem, it's a bit of prose. But you reminded me of the fact that Susan is my swim buddy, or one of my swim buddies. Open water is claustrophobic. The compression on the ears, the bubbles that belch and ricochet from your nose and mouth in a muffled fusillade, the fogged vision in soup green depths. When you swim in this environment, you are alert to every passing leaf brushing against your skin. The thin lick of a weed frond becomes a kraken's caress. You swim over a submerged branch and imagine a wrecked ship about to entangle your limbs. In the dark, it's even worse. The blackness of the water seems like a shroud to the vilest decay, and any minute you might reach forward and push your fingertips into the flayed jelly of a deer's severed leg. And worst of all are the backwards curving teeth in the sullen face of a pike, as it patrols unseen beside you, its body almost as long as yours, its patience infinite. The hunter who knows the skill of waiting and watching, like the eels, for bits of you to drop off and nourish the lake dwellers for a few weeks. Happy swimming. I hope that's put you off.
Jean, you're in the best room ever. You've got the Aurora Borealis and a 1970s ball, at least on this screen. Wonderful.
Fabulous. Cool. All right.
Swimming anyway.
It's turning into the open water swimmers night because it's Jackie next. You've got another one for us?
Well, I do miss swimming, and for those that don't know it, having to make do almost always with the wheelie bin that we've drafted in to the back garden. So it's not quite as much space as a lake, but I thought I'd read a poem about my beloved Lake District while I'm away from there. It's called Below Dodwood. Below Dodwood, the illusion of verdant heavens. Seasoned pasture defends below Dodwood. Shrieks of stillness, the illusion of angels ascending into verdant heavens. The crown of Skiddaw falls as seasoned pasture defends her majesty below Dodwood. Bassenthwaite rests beneath shrieks of stillness, ethereal grey, the illusion of mirrors defending lacustrine angels ascending into pools submerged, verdant heavens. Heat of the waking sun stirs. The crown of Skiddaw falls as osprey glide and seasoned pasture defends aloft. Her majesty shimmers below Dodwood. Reflection shallows as Bassenthwaite rests beneath lake and mere. Streaks of stillness, vapours, ethereal grey, elevate and dissipate, the illusion of vanishing ladies. Mirrors defending lacustrine bodies of angels, ascending into phosphates, pools submerged, Neolithic farms, verdant heavens. Thank you. Not entirely about swimming, but it is about a place I love.
Yeah, that was great. It's brought it all to mind. Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. Susan.
I'll have to go at the end of this session because I've got family Zooms and phone calls and whatnots to partake in. So I'll have to say my piece and then go, I'm afraid, or I will catch up with it all when it's edited and beautiful, I'm sure. I worry about some poetry I'm writing at the moment, just being a bit samey because, you know, there's only a limited amount of things you can write about while you're in lockdown. But hey ho, they're not the same poem, so, you know. So, leave it for the bees, I hear, as gritted teeth and clenched glove move past the spiky-fingered questings in my lawn. And overnight, a Van Gogh-like explosion fills the scrubby corner where, like cursed ground, nothing seems to grow except this weed. I wait for bees. They bumble in, enjoying early chives and comfrey, but never do I see them on this plant. Then once more overnight, a carpet cloud appears of mouse umbrella seed heads set to wreak their stubborn selves on next year's lawn, when hopefully, yet not hopefully, life will be too normal for me to be aware of this tenacious invader. Nature overtakes the busy gardener, busier than a bee, where dandelions roam free. So thank you for my birthday wishes, and thank you all for swimmy things and all the rest of it. And I'll catch up with this later. But yeah, it's good to see everybody. So hurrah. I'll see you all next time.
Thank you for sharing your birthday with us. Thanks.
It was my pleasure. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How do I leave? How do I leave? Oh, yeah.
There'll be a little button. Okay, we've got about 6 minutes, but that should be enough time for a couple more people, I think. So we're up to Richard. Have you got another one for us, please?
Right, yes, I've got another one. As we're all looking so miserable, I found this interesting fact that it apparently takes 15 muscles to smile, but 42 to frown. So it's far more in these green times energy efficient to keep smiling and banish the blues. Sadly, in the end, gravity always wins, as they say. But this is called Just Keep Smiling. Gravity turns down the corners of your mouth. Everything else is travelling south. Can't fight nature, but don't frown, for there might be a way to brighten your and everyone's day. Just keep smiling while you're whiling all the hours away. Just keep smirking while you're working every single day. Just keep grinning while you're winning. Despite the bruising, have a chuckle, never buckle, even when losing. Sadness depresses the whole of your psyche. Don't weep and give up or shout crikey. It doesn't take 3 guesses to ease those frantic tussles, for smiling uses fewer muscles. There you go. So I thought I'd try and cheer you all up on as we're getting out of lockdown, because everybody looks really miserable.
Well, that was great.
Yeah.
Roz.
Right. She's me complaining again, I'm afraid. Right. It's getting hard to write as holding pens is made difficult by my dupridens, and this developing genetic curse does with age become a whole lot worse. Well, I blame my parents, as it seems. They are responsible for all my genes, and each and every bodily restriction inherited through genetic affliction becomes spread throughout the whole family, but some diseases have singled out me, which leads me to ponder how possibly I'm the result of infidelity. Or possibly, that should have been, sorry, I can't read my own poems. Thank you.
You never know. You never know.
That would be an interesting episode of Who Do You Think You Are? Kelly, it's you. We've got 3 minutes. Are you able to do one in 3 minutes?
Yes, luckily I've got a very short one, and it's in honour of Susan's birthday, even though she's no longer here. But Jean and Jackie are here, so this was a little ode that I wrote to them and Susan and the other women who go swimming with them. And it appeared in this anthology, This Place I Know. Wild Swimming Women, a sisterhood of Cumbrian naiads. You come to life in icy lakes and tarns, risking death by hypothermia, reveling in bone-tingling chill. You bring us accounts of your joyful battles with sub-zero temperatures, dispatches from the front line of human endurance. I am made of weaker stuff, but I like to think of you out there, laughing and gasping as you take the plunge, your rosy faces glowing like beacons. That's it.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was wonderful. I'd forgotten.
You inspired it. I have to go now, but lovely to see you all and enjoy the rest of the session. Okay, see you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okie dokie. Well, we're probably about to tune out, but if we all sign back in, and then we'll pick up, and it'll be Tony to kick us off. So, but yeah, that was a good little session again. That was some nice stuff. So,
I'll tune out as well, so I'll say bye-bye.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. That was really lovely.
Thanks for joining in, Jean. Good to see you.
Okay. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
And yeah, we'll see everybody again in a minute or two. Yeah. Just be me in an empty chair.
An empty chair, yeah.
Cool. And we're about to do the time warp, I think. So, yeah. Yeah, we're still here. We're still waiting to clock off. Yeah. Yeah. You keeping all right? Have you ever seen them with your travels and that? No.
No, I haven't been that lucky. Has anyone else?
No.
No. It's
It would be a wish, definitely.
Wasn't it a couple of years ago they were visible over sort of Whitehaven Harbour and things?
I believe so, yeah. They
Really?
do come down with star surf sometimes, so. Not tonight, I suspect.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, I think.
Yeah, sometimes throw green powdered paint into the night sky with a torch. They're like reenacting. Yeah, it makes the neighbours very excited.
Yeah.
For different reasons, because we've got really odd neighbours.
There's another story there, isn't there?
Maybe it's green powdered paint in the night sky with a torch. I don't know.
Sounds good living with you.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, especially when I'm not there.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, Tony, have you got another one for us?
Okay, yeah.
An endorsement.
Yeah, it arrived today. Thank you. Lovely, lovely.
Oh yeah. Cheers. Yes, hope you enjoy it and all of the birds in there and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lovely thing.
Yeah. I am retired now, which is how I get to write so much poetry. But and I was working, I always it's liked Sunday nights because the weekend is almost over and I've got to go to work in the morning and all that. So I wrote this poem about it. And it's called Sunday Night. A diet always starts on Monday. Cakes a must on Sunday night. Fat and sugar sorely needed. 9 p.m. Let's make it 8. Brain is dead until tomorrow. Cells can't take the hard stuff in. I'll settle down for period drama. Frock coats comfort me again. Dreadful news again this morning. Death, destruction, cruel waste. Hacks are brutal, lacking mercy. This is Sunday, day of rest. Papers put into the waste bin. Glass of wine, piece of cake. The TV on and head in neutral. Now your phone, beyond a joke. Can't be doing with trauma. Peace this night is all I ask. Hang up life and just be patient. Call you on Monday from my desk. That's it.
I'm sorry, we need to head off now. Thank you very much for having us.
No worries. We'll maybe see you guys again, or not see you again, depending on how it goes. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Michael.
It was really nice.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okie dokie. Jeanette?
I wrote this one last year with thoughts on, it was after the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings, and kind of thoughts on Brexit in one poem. It's called Casting Stones. Skimming stones, releasing ripples in reflections. They stand in sand shadows of footholds on the shore. Warm laughter, like soft sunrise, strokes their future, freed by souls beneath the glimmer on dark sea floor. Their forefathers, simple soldiers, took their orders, did their job. Survivors, were they lucky? Now ask why. Their battle shell-shocked hit echoes over Normandy. Fire fumes and shrapnel steam still circles sea and sky. Operation Overlord, a strategy of steel, not flesh. When Neptune turned the tide to victory, would the longer stay bring beginning to an end? Could fascism and tyranny become history? Face down floating bodies, men cut down like rye, paratroopers landing to a pitch-dark cry. They fought for a free world, nations hand in hand. So cast your stones carefully, give thought where heroes lie.
Wow, that's very powerful, actually. Yeah, that's really good stuff. Wow. Val, do you have one for us, please?
This is the one I wrote on the theme of light. It's a bit miserable. You might have to get Richard to read his smile poem after it. Anyway, this is about depression. It's called Dark Depression. If I got rid of the dark, I could let in the light. Somehow this philosophy doesn't seem quite right. For deep in my heart, I secretly know if I let in the light, the darkness would go. But darkness affords me a place I can hide away from the torments and fears from outside. Like a shadow that creeps around in the night, I studiously avoid the least chink of light. If I could let in just one little spark to smoulder inside my internal dark, the resulting flame then just might fill my soul with warmth and light. But everywhere I look seems black. How can I get my lightness back? So I try to chase the dark away as I struggle through another day. Sorry, depressing all.
Yeah, again, very powerful stuff. Very, yeah. Craig, you got another?
Yeah, this poem is very fresh. I was just sort of finishing. Well, I don't think it's really finished. It needs a bit of tweaking, but we'll give it a go anyway. It was inspired by a walk along Whitehaven Harbour, and there was a strange kind of fishing going on. And in the process of trying to research what this strange kind of fishing was, I actually stumbled upon an entirely different fishing technique altogether. So this is based on fishing that's I think pretty much about to die out very shortly. I think there's only one guy who actually does it now down in Somerset. So I should maybe do it with a Somerset accent, but I think that'll be a step too far. This is called The Last Mudhorse Fisherman. Well beyond the stone-riddled foreshore, distanced from the glare of the huge grey power monster, weighted down by rocks 1 mile out decreed, an ancient forlorn but trusty steed, a simple wooden construction built by hand to safely navigate mudbanks not sink in like quicksand. Now laden with 2 baskets, a sieve and a walking pole, it's ready to make a mere half journey whole. Passed down 2 centuries, a long lost ancient art, the 5th generation fisherman will surely be the last, seen sledging through the mud, belly to the plank, riding far beyond the distant edge of the bladder rack. 2 miles out now, at tide's lowest ebb, he's staking out the nets, traditionally of hemp and twine, meagre pickings he now expects. Brown shrimp his main catch from April till first frost, a salty sea tang potted feast to sell in the cottage shop. Perhaps a sea bass or a Dover sole, whitebait and cod in the winter. The purses, or cod ends as sometimes called, spill out no riches glitter. Among the shrimp, though, there's an increasingly rare eel, then a couple of skates and a haul of sprats is revealed. He fears no one is willing to climb aboard and take the reins. There's much better livelihoods, they think, than this one to be made. Gliding over deep mud in a treacherous location, too hard and dirty the work, too little the remuneration. Acres of brown, slippery seaweed fringe a vast expanse, a grey sea-washed nothingness in which to eke a living. What chance against the menacing bulk's lure of jobs and gargantuan water intake? Hold fast tradition, anchor the heart for history's sake. Thank you.
It's fantastic.
That last line is so beautiful. Anchor the heart. It's really lovely. It's lovely to have one about the sea. I want to go there.
Yeah, it's in. Is it a Bridgewater Bay? Could that possibly be where it is? No, something Bay, down south of the Welsh coast. Whatever that piece of water, I've forgotten the name.
It could be Bridgewater Bay.
But it's near the Power Monsters Hinkley Power
Hinkley
Station.
Point, yeah, you've got Watch It down there. You've got Bridgewater.
I was going to say Watch It. Are you sure you're not thinking of Avonmouth, the Power Monster?
No, is it Bridgewater? Did somebody say Bridgewater or not?
Bridgewater's just down the coast from Hinkley, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's that bay is where it takes place, and the guy is, to be honest, I'm not sure if the guy's father's still alive, but he until a few years ago certainly was still operating their shop in the village, and this guy's the 6th generation. And there's YouTube.
If I ever get back down there, I'll ask my friends who live in Watch It, and they know a lot about the sea.
And there's some fascinating interviews with the guy that does it still now and his dad in the shop and out on the mud as well. It was really, really interesting. So that's sort of, says my internet connection is unstable, but I'll let somebody else speak now.
We always learn stuff on these nights. It's really interesting. Cool. Hilary, you got another one for us?
No, I've said quite enough already tonight. I don't have another one.
No worries. It's good contribution.
I did that one today.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's great.
I don't have any more.
All right. Juliet, have you got one for us?
Yes, I've got one more I'm working on. Like Hilary's, it's got a bird in it. Mr. Dipper, River Lauder. Water oozle, little snorkel, hidden in your waterproof eyes, your neoprene wetsuit. So smart. Who knew they do white shirts that tuck in? Compulsive bower. Oh, I like your rock, your dinner gong. Your smart clip of a calling card keeps everything right. Dibbling the rocks for a pre-theatre nibbles. You dine on aquatic insects, larvae, water snails. Appropriately taking a rock break between courses. I watch you plunge for your main course, a juicy, slimy sail that you extract on the dinner table of a flat stone. I hope pudding comes as larvae, sticky, sweet river caviar, full of juice. Sip, sip. That's as far as I've got with it.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah, that was fun. It's not easy sometimes when you have an idea to sustain it for a whole poem, is it? You know, yeah, that's really good.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Fernando Smith.
I think the second vote was for sea houses.
I said sea houses.
Yeah. Okay. This was written. It's not a new poem. This one, and sea houses is maybe where the sea houses is in sort of in Northumberland. And it's a sort of a lived-in fishing place, if you don't know it. It has about 10 fish and chip shops or something, and tons of pubs, and a wonderful beach and a wonderful walk up to Bamburgh, Woodley Bay, and the skies are always wonderful. But this is about being in a caravan in sea houses in dark November. So it's perhaps less wonderful, but this is where we'll all end up now. Sea houses will become like the kind of the Saint-Tropez of Britain in post-lockdown, you know. Yeah, it's a daft poem. Sea houses. Excuse me. A holiday in a caravan is very nice. The bouncing floor, space-saving device that keeps sharp objects out of the way and could save a child's eye someday. Formica, in any light I might admire, though in here I aspire to put to fire such blatantly provocative, flame-proofed attire. Net curtains to prevent the neighbours' talk with handsome embroidered hunting folk in rural scenes. But I am not a man of means, which is why I holiday here, among the chipboard beach veneer, hanging thing, cleverly disguised as a picture rail. The plastic plugs covering every screw and nail, no harm will come to us in this caravan. Living in a caravan, it's a thing to do, a 6-inch sink in a 12-inch loo. You learn to cross legs when you poo, living here with a blustery North Sea view and fishing boats and a lighthouse too. The man next door spits and scowls at me. Speed bumps on the sight spread around randomly as they make you jump as you try to flee the caravan site late at night, looking for action, for it is shite when the telly only gets 3 channels and the gas fire gives off inflammables. So we find a pub where the locals glare at caravan me and caravan her. We leave the fires on all day long and through the night with no contrary song, for it is colder than an Eskimo's thong, and this caravan does not belong to us. So the bills cost no fuss. Look at the pastel cushions, I count 4, there really should be 16 more, but I use the others to block the door where the wind rasps through. I'm coming to get you, says you turn blue under the duvet, wishing your holiday away, knowing going home time is getting near, and a holiday in a caravan was a good idea.
That's brilliant.
Good stuff. My FU works as a ranger on the farms, and at the moment he is furloughed in tree houses. So I get lots of photos and that from him on my phone.
It's a nice place to be furloughed. Can you imagine being in lockdown on the Farne Islands, though? Wow, that'd be something. One of the nice things about this time has been that microcosm and that thing of seeing, you know, brings such a subtle season and seeing spring unfurl in front of you, like the buds unfurling, because our lives have been such, you know, such a microcosm. Imagine what that would be like in Farn with the chicks hatching and the seals in the wow, that'd be amazing.
Well, yeah, that's right. He's absolutely desperate to get back there as fast as he can. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
All right, good stuff. That's another round. Down. Are we all okay to have another quick spin round?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. This is on the theme of the Black Lives Matter, and these were some words that I did for a Black History Month event that we did at Telly House back in I think this was 2017, and it's called "Who Knew." Who knew just what wickedness folk, people can do? That primal, central instinct for preservation, to rise to the top of the tree, make others work for thee for free, through fear and domination, to forge the greatest nation, built upon a warped foundation. Who decides one race is strong and one is weak? Who is the enlightened one and who the freak? Last time I checked, there was only one race, to which we all belong. Those greedy actions justified by profits of many kinds, all so bloody wrong. Where was the thought? Where was the love? Where was the understanding? Where was the humanity? It took far too long to stop this insanity. But it never really goes away. Rebranded, repackaged for another day. Anything you want. Anyone you want. Who knew? When the first ones left, that central cradle spread far and wide across this world, moving out as far as they're able, to the cold lands, wet and bleak. There's fertile soil, but the sun is weak. The body's genes, with less melanin, become the norm to let the sunshine in. A mutant spawns the pale-skin race, and difference and prejudice is born. Ideology and misunderstood biology are the weapons of choice for the mutants who think that they're the chosen. But you're rewriting your past, a history that's interwoven, seeing it from another angle. I guess some people would sell their own grandmothers to make it rich. Some bright spark came up with this magic triangle. What a Weasley son of a bitch. Kidnap those inferior. We'll find them in the interior. Use the opiate of the masses, or just brute force, clubs and broken glasses. African people, we take them, cross the ocean, and we make them. Break their backs on some plantation. We can't pay them, but promise their salvation. To live in chains your whole life, just because you're not white. Who are the weak? This is not forgot. Who is the freak? This was people's lot. And those who reaped rewards are still the wealthy dukes and lords. Ever wonder how they made their cash? You'll find it rests upon a stash of bones, no different from yours. Sweat, no different from yours. Blood, no different from yours. And tears, no different from yours. Who knew? through a fault of pigmentation would lie centuries of subjugation. Thanks, so-called civilization, indifferent for so long to the protestations. Back, sheltered in the cradle, the rise of humankind, when blackness was a virtue, before the birth of time, who knew? And that's that.
That's really interesting and very, very, really good that was, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, somebody ought to read that out in the sort of police force at Minneapolis or wherever it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that the stash of bones was a really good description.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, Tully House asked us to do these events, and you it was difficult to sort of find a connection. But when you think about it, everybody's, the same at the, on a very basic sort of,
I know
level.
that's what I liked about what you said about the line about the tears, the one tears being the same. I think that's really lovely, really good. Coming at the end of the list.
Thank you. I mean, the whole issue, it's such an emotive issue. It's such an emotional issue, and people are waking up to what a powerful issue it is. And
I think I'm still. What we saw last week with the policeman that's in custody now was just so unbearable and devastating and unbelievable. I think I'm still processing it really, but I kind of feel you've been responding to it, and I feel that what I've been doing is actually rather self-indulgent by comparison, but maybe I can process it later.
I think people will think about it in their own way, in different ways, and in their own time. So yeah. Hello, Annie.
Hello. Sorry,
How are
I'm
you?
late. I'm
Late to your own poetry.
very tired. Yeah. I'm just going to read out COVID sanitation chemical lists to you. That's it.
Good. Well, do you have one to hand? I mean, you can do one now if you'd like.
No. No. Look, it's horrible, Phil. It's horrible.
Oh my lord.
I know. That's only page 1. So
Page 5's really good, though. I hear.
Page 5.
Oh,
very readable.
It's going to go viral.
Yeah, page 5 is like an extended metaphor for fucking things up.
Hold on, let me turn to that. I'm just popping in to say hello and sorry I haven't been here, and I'm going to go back to this.
No, it's all right. Are you keeping okay though?
Yes, I'm not bad. Yes, I'm actually having a holiday at the moment. Well, I thought I was. I'm not going to do any work for a day or two, but here I am working.
It's like a Baldrick style holiday where Blackadder goes, "Oh, you were on this short holiday. Did you enjoy it?"
Yes, that's it. It wasn't that long though. But yes, but we're hoping to be opening the bistro very soon.
Oh, cool.
So, well, we're kind of, depends what Mr. Johnson says, but this is what we're working on at the moment, our risk assessment and everything else. So fingers crossed.
Oh, well, let us know how it goes. Hopefully we'll be back there soon. But
yeah, well, hopefully by the autumn, that'll be quite good. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, and then at the next poetry event, I shall read poems of antibacterial surface spray and BSEN 1276 and BS13 whatever it was 6375. I don't know. They're just numbers.
Oh, but that's a classic. I like that one.
As my dad used to say, comes out of a laboratory, it's clean.
And it depends which laboratory it come out of.
The laboratory of the...
It's not good. It's not good. But it's comforting to know that pre-COVID, our cleaning regime at the bistro was actually above post-COVID standards. So there you go. So we don't have to do too much of a change. We're just working out spaces, really.
Okay, cool. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So you might get another holiday then.
Yeah, yeah. So cool. But I'm gonna go because I printed it far too small. I was grinding metal yesterday, and somehow a hot spark got behind my safety specs and hit me in the eye. So I need to go and find my eye drops because it's itching really badly. Actually, I should be honest. I wasn't wearing my safety specs, so I don't have any pictures. I know. So yeah, bit naughty, and I got caught out. Fortunately, it was a very small grinder, so very small spark. But my motorbike looks awesome.
Well, next time we'll have to see the motorbike.
Yeah, you can ride up on it.
Yes, we'll have to. I'll have to do a Bertie poem. That'll be cool. I'm going to leave you lot to your poems.
Oh well.
And,
thanks very much.
It's lovely to see you, and hope the eye clears up soon.
Yeah. It's just they usually clear up in a couple of days. Not like I haven't done it before.
Yeah, should get used to it.
Oh well, enjoy your COVID cleaning regimes, and
yeah.
Goodbye from the effete sensualists.
I mean, I might leave you guys on in the background, and
okay,
have a listen.
That's cool. We've got about four minutes before we do the time warp thing again. But
cool.
That'd be time for some more bits and pieces. Jackie, do you have another one to share with us, or?
It's from my journal. I'll try and keep it short and squeeze it in. It's dated 19th of May, running water. While the household was sleeping, I crept downstairs to open the patio door in a downy grey light that hardly gave clarity, but framed an electric atmosphere. A triumphant host of colour radiated through the double glazing, and I felt like Dorothy dazzled by the Emerald City. I gently opened the patio door, and boom! The dawn chorus was rejoicing. The starling was standing on the peak of next door's loft extension and was orchestrating a jumble of avian voices at full volume. It was hard to hear my own breathing, or my meditative introspection, or the first freight flight passing overhead. The trees were nodding in carefully tempered agreement that the daisies should continue to sleep. If not for the sweet, distracting perfume of morning dew and pollen, senses would have been overloaded with sounds shrill, exotic, content, and deliciously satisfied. The starling tombstoned off the roof, and I took my cue to leave the party before things got out of hand. I slipped back under the bed sheets and dreamt of goshawks standing on the bedside table and bamboo lengths growing inside the shed. Thank you.
Wonderful. I like that image of the tombstoning starlings.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent stuff.
We've been with up to 57 of them, so it's not alone there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the phrase where you say I dreamt of goshawks. That's beautiful.
Have you been watching Spring Watch?
No.
No, they've had goshawks in their nest, and I think that filtered through to my dreaming.
They're beautiful.
But there's definitely bamboo climbing inside the shed.
Oh wow.
I don't know about goshawks and starlings, but I was always of the opinion that budgerigars had just enough of a brain to be vindictive.
Yeah.
I can well imagine. They've all got characters. All these birds that I'm watching day on, day in, day out.
Lots of birds have turned up this evening. Philip,
Yeah.
I'm bowing out now.
Oh, okay, Hilary.
Around. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you for joining us.
I really lovely to see you all. Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye. Bye.
So am I.
Okay.
I'll bow out as well at the break.
Okay.
I'll see you next time. Yeah.
Take care.
Same here,
See you
unfortunately.
soon.
Yes.
Bye. Bye all. See you next time.
Bye.
And I think we're going to time out in less than a minute, and then we'll all check back in again. But yeah, there's been lots of good stuff, and we'll just get everybody can do one. We'll get through this last round, and
we'll get through it.
We'll get through it together.
We'll
yeah.
welcome it. I wish I had Salvador Dali's accent. It'd be extravaganza.
I stumbled across a clip of him on the old TV show What's My Line, and they had no idea who he was because he kept saying yes to everything. I mean, all those people who make predictions of what's going to happen at the start of the year, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't see any of this happening."
No. Back in again. Yeah, I imagine who would have suspected it at the beginning of the year?
Yeah. And the government advisors. So you're saying we'd be able to get people to stay in their homes for the best part of 3 months and not riot about it?
That's it. Well, now they're coming out of it, I think, and they're going to riot, which is why they're probably any excuse and they're kicking off, which is...
Possibly. You're possibly right about that.
But anyway, it's good cause, the Black Lives Matter.
Yes, it is. It's very timely. We waited a long time.
Yeah.
And it changes the whole reference as well because of the times it's happening in. Just layer upon layer upon layer of meaning and The statues issue is very interesting.
Yeah. Who are they going to pull down next? We ask us.
Yeah. And who they're going to put up, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for possibly the best piece of art ever with all these statues. Can you imagine how powerful that would be in a museum room or something? And the things you could do with that. Yeah.
Well, they might just replace all the statues of people who made their fortunes out of the slave trade, and with statues of doctors and frontline workers. And
no, they should replace them with statues of fascists and right-wing commentators with large rubber balls on them, and you go along the street, and they're all at street level, and as you walk across, as the Scots do in Edinburgh when they spit on the heart, the British heart, or you walk past them and you kick them in the balls. Audience participation, that's where the future of sculpture is.
I like it, yeah.
Good catch on.
It's one up from like the traffic cone on the head.
Yeah, on Glasgow. Yeah. I once, when I worked in Scotland for about 10 years, and I used to visit Glasgow a lot. And do you remember not condoms, the femidoms, the big things? Yeah. Do you remember those? I don't think they ever caught on. I never experienced one anyway. But someone had pulled one over the head of that statue. It was wonderful. There was something quite erotic about it. We talk about Salvador Dali, he'd have appreciated that. Perhaps if there'd been a lobster perched on top, I didn't expect to say that tonight.
No, it's always unusual when you join us. We never know what's going to happen next.
This
It's great.
It's
very
one of the things I
unpredictable.
like about this, although you don't always have the time, is you can't do it in a live situation quite the same, because you know you're sort of rushed and you're aware of the space and everything. But how someone says something, and suddenly if you've got a room full of creative people, something else sparks and something else, and you know, and just that the beauty of that unstructured conversation, that stream of consciousness conversation it's a lovely, lovely thing. You know, I use it a lot in my work with children.
Oh,
you start here and where you're going to end up. It's like a pub conversation, you know, and with your friends, and you're relaxed, and you go places you could never have envisaged. It's such a creative process, conversation. That's it.
We'd be analysed by Chris Reed if he was tuning in for this week's edition. Yeah, that's cool. Welcome back. We're up to Richard. We got
Look at me again. Oh, right. Well, I was thinking about the power of our minds is indeed incredible and limitless. And although I'm usually only in one place at a time, when you dream, you can be anywhere and anywhen, if you like. So this is called in two places at one time. A bit like being on Zoom, really. I can be where I want to be. Close my eyes, it's ubiquity. Standing on the surface of Mars, red soil, looking at the stars. Here back at home, sitting in my chair, or in dark jungles, if I dare. I could go where I like to go. Imagine, make it so. On the bridge of a storm-tossed craft, joking on stage, oh, how they laughed. I could be here all through the day, or somewhere else far away. I can be here when I wish to be, now future or in history, on a rocket far out in space, or right now in a different place. Way back, meet an Egyptian queen, my mind a virtual time machine.
Brilliant. I like that. That was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Ros, can you follow that?
Probably not. No, quite like that.
You're going to have to. You're going to.
No, I got some of the 5 lines long that I don't know what I was doing with it, but I wrote it down yesterday. Yeah, this will do. Thank you. Okay. It's a waste of time to compliment me because I will only see flattery and sincerity, but neither do I want the metaphoric slap of being told my poems are crap. And that is that. Thank you.
That was great.
Ros Edwards, when can we meet?
Anytime you want to buy me a drink.
Oh, it's a day.
Fantastic. Cool. Okay. Jeanette.
I just had a very short little poem, but can I chuck in a little cheeky haiku as well?
Oh.
Just going back to Glasgow.
Go on
I've
then.
got one that was inspired from my last trip. And obligatory, keep on smiling, keep it real, to Coneheed culture. That's that.
Oh, fab.
And then the other one, I really like your smile poem, Richard. So this has reminded me of one I've got on laughter. So,
All right. Go on, cheer everybody out, that's all.
yeah. Laughter, genuine, full-bodied laughter, nature's best medicine, prescribed daily to be taken at involuntary intervals, temporarily eliminates frustration and melancholy, invigorating the organs, raising the mood, and illuminating eyes. Caution, infectious. Please keep this tonic within reach of all those who may benefit. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we proved it again tonight. You know, laughter is the best medicine. That's great. Val, do you have another one for us, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry to be a bit miserable, but I was really missing my kids yesterday. So this is called Together Apart. I'm all alone in my living room, about to chat to my kids on Zoom. My lovely boy, my gorgeous girl, it's lonely here in lockdown world. We can talk but cannot touch. I miss them both so very much. And if we meet, we cannot hug, in case we catch the COVID bug. Then as we talk, across the miles, my grandson's face popped up and smiles. At Christmas he was still quite small, but now he seems so very tall. I used to visit, we used to play, but now I'm not allowed to stay. So I speak to him whenever I can, so he won't forget his gran. 'Cause most of all it's him I miss. We say goodbye, he blows a kiss. Love you, Gran, see you soon. And with a wave, they're gone from Zoom. Once again, I'm on my own, in lockdown world, and all alone.
Wow.
It's really hard, Val, missing your kids and your
But it has
grandkids.
changed
Really tough.
today, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
it said that
Yeah.
you can visit your grandchildren now from next week, from the week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been tough, has that?
It's been quite tough.
Again, that was a lovely little time capsule from you know what it's been like. Clunk. It's you again, Mark Griffiths, or shall I say Fernando Smith?
Can I? I've got a short poem actually that I want to just do first for Val. And this is. I've got 3 children, and my youngest is called Hal. And you know, the things that stick in your mind are the things that, you know, the curious little things with the time you spend with your loved ones and your children. And this is called Hal by the Water, and it was written in the Howgills. Oh, it was written about an afternoon in the Howgills by a stream. Hal by the water, cast your stone, little boy. The wilderness is weeping by a tin-foil stream rushing for the tide, leaping the weir, hesitating at the meander's hammock, dreading the oxbow of your dam. And the one I was wanting to read was actually kind of a follow-up to the poem you read earlier, Phil. And this was written with Dr. King's words, I wait to dream, of course, the famous words in mind. And I have a dream, rather. And it's called I Wait to Dream. I wait to dream. I wait to dream of the delicate night that will call on my love, like dried leaves crashing against the monastery wall, like the young bird tied to the nest, anticipating its leap into the great open life, like hope. I wait to dream of the coming light that will guide my love into the world, like the deferred song of the cricket signalling the dawn, like a spoke of cloud forming across an indifferent sky, like hope. I wait for the dream that commands my love, like the spawning stab of the fish penetrating maiden foss, like the eternal clock turning tide and season on its heel, binding gut to grass, bone to stone, like hope. I wait for the dream that destroys my love, like boredom on a stalled afternoon, like a number on the wrist of an ashen girl, like hope lost.
was really powerful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing it. And Craig, have you got another one to share with us?
I can give you this one that sounds a bit petty now, but it was written as a old nightclub in Workington was burning down, and there was a lot of people on the streets. So it's in haiku format. Fire gawpers in town, lack of social distancing, wonder who will die. A huddle of fools get their priorities wrong. Memories, ashes. That's that one, thank you. Short and sweet.
Isn't the word gawpers and gawping a wonderful word? It's absolutely describes the act of gawping.
It seems very petty now with the protests that followed and all the lack of social distancing, that certain people have been keen to focus on that more, and some of the other stuff more than the reason behind why people are actually protesting in the first place here. But
life's full of life and shade.
One of those things, isn't it?
Wow. It's been really, really wonderful and varied stuff tonight. It's been, quite thought-provoking at times as well, and it's been silly at times as well. So I think that's the magic, really, isn't it? But I think it's been wonderful. So thank you.
Some of us have been in lockdown too long. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Give yourselves a round of applause. I mean,
see you in a month or before.
Yeah, maybe one could have a theme of absolute nonsense, and we could call it a briefing.
I think we call it SpeakEasy, and that'll be in a fortnight as well. So, it's great. Thank you so much. Can we give a quick round of applause?
Thank you all, and look after yourselves. Stay cheerful, stay safe.
Can we just give a round of applause to all the essential workers who are still doing their thing, even though it's
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll do a quick round of applause for them.
Yeah, we don't do it on a Thursday night any longer, but
no,
we've been out every Thursday doing it, so that's been a good way to meet the neighbours as well.
From a social distance.
Oh yes, definitely.
Cool. Well, thank you all. Keep up the good work. Great stuff.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Safe trip home.